As we have pointed out throughout the series, transition to post-secondary education is preparing you and your child to transition from entitled to eligible. So it will no longer be about what you're entitled to, but what you are eligible for. As your child reaches adulthood, utilizing community resources will be crucial to you and your child's future planning. Here to tell us about a tremendous resource to the disability community is Program Director Lavonzell Paige from the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. Today she will be discussing the 7th Annual College Summit for High School Students with Disabilities. Hi Lavonzell, thank you for being on our show today.
How are you? Glad to be here.
So could you tell us a little bit about the summit?
Yes, I can. We have a summit that's coming up and it is the 7th Annual Summit, and it is going to be happening on April 20th. And our beginning and registration time is at 8:30. We'll be providing a hot breakfast that morning. It's a Saturday morning. And we'd like to see as many families and youth with disabilities to come out as possible.
Could you tell us a little bit about a few of the resources that will be there?
Well, I certainly can. We're going to have, first of all, we'll be there, the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, and we offer a number of services that are available to families as well as students, adults as well. And speaking of that, in my unit, it's the employment services. And there will be Department of Rehabilitation Services. We're going to have the Social Security Administration will be there. We're going to have Chicago and Cook County workforce. There has been a merger in the communities for services that are happening out at the workforce centers. We're going to have a number of job training and employment services that render services out in the community, habilitative systems, Goodwill Industries. Just a few, name a couple of the agencies that are going to be there to provide services for individuals.
Yeah, this is certainly something you don't want to miss. So why was the summit started? What got the ball rolling?
Well, as the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, our concern has always been to provide full service for a full community, everybody that lives in the city of Chicago. Apparently, we are concerned with those people with disabilities. And one of the things that brought us to the summit was we had an initiative and a grant that we were running for a number of years from the Social Security Administration. Initially, it was called Benefits Planning and Assistance, and finally, it was called Work Incentive Planning and Assistance Program. What we learned from that is that there were a number of people who felt that they could not become educated, they could not go to work. Many of them did not understand the benefits that they were receiving, especially those students who were receiving SSI benefits. They were not aware of the impact that work or education would have on their benefits. And we found that as we went through the Social Security grant under BPA and O and work incentive, that there were a number of incentives that people were not aware of, and they had this fear of going further with their education with their child, or even taking a look at becoming employed. And so our job was to get in there and work and make sure that as many people as possible understood that, and they received counseling for that, benefits planning, counseling for that.
So you guys were closing the gap.
We were closing the gap. We really worked with that. And we thought, why not try working with a sister agency? So we zeroed in on the Chicago Public Schools, which worked favorably with us as we tried to do that. And we found that as we did that with the students and for the students, working with the counselors and case managers, that many of the parents who were receiving benefits and had for a long time had that barrier and stigma that they could not work. They would not allow their child to become involved in what would take them to the next level to create independence.
So ultimately, they weren't living up to their full potential because of what they didn't know.
Right, exactly right.
So through self-advocacy, which the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, through this summit, they're able to self-advocate for themselves.
That's
parents are feeling more confident about their children going out into the workforce, or just at least seeing what their options are.
Exactly right.